old dog's prayer. One by one they passed by my cage. Too old, too worn, too broken, no way. Way past his time, he can't run and play. Then they shake their heads slowly and go on their way. A little old man, arthritic and sore. It seems I am not wanted anymore. I once had a home, I once had a bed, a place that was warm and where I was fed. Now my muzzle is grey and my eyes slowly fail. Who wants an old dog, so old and so frail? My family decided I didn't belong. I got in their way, my attitude was wrong. Whatever excuse they made in their head can't justify how they left me for dead. Now I sit in this cage where day after day the younger dogs get adopted away. When I had almost come to the end of my rope, you saw my face and I finally had hope. You saw through the grey and the legs bent with age. I felt I still had life beyond this cage. You took me home, gave me food and a bed, and shared your own pillow with my poor tired head. We snuggle and play, and you talk to me low. You love me so dearly, you want me to know. I may be with you for a week or for years. We will share many smiles, you will no doubt shed tears. And when the time comes that God deems I must leave, I know you will cry and your heart, it will grieve. And when I arrive at the bridge, all brand new, my thoughts and my heart will still be with you. And I will brag to all who will hear of the person who made my last days so dear. A dumped dog's prayer. Don't close the door, don't push me away. Why are you leaving? Don't make me stay. Slow down the car, I can't keep up. This pavement is hot and my pads are cut. I've got to quit running or my heart will pop. Every muscle is aching, why don't you stop? I'm so hungry and thirsty, darkness is near. But I shouldn't leave, he will come for me here. Several weeks has passed, I am dead on my feet. They call me a nuisance because I eat off the streets. Every car that passes, I chase it to see if it's my master coming for me. Though I approach those that come near with trust in my eyes and no sign of fear, with hate in their voices and a cold, heartless stare. They threaten to kill me, they don't even care. Batter my body with rocks that they throw. I will not leave, he will come, don't you know? Overtaken with weakness, my body is numb. I'm sick and so lonely, oh please, let him come. I will go back where he first threw me out. I will wait for him there, he will come, no doubt. My thoughts are fading, my chest feels like lead. I'm sleepy, so sleepy, I can't lift my head. It's so quiet, so peaceful, all remains still. There is my master at my home on the hill. Yes, I can see him, he's calling my name. His voice is so gentle, his hands are the same. He decided he wants me, things will be fine. I really do love him, that master of mine. My tail wags with pleasure, I can't catch my breath. He came in my dreams, but so did my death. A dog's story. Moving. That's the reason I was dumped at the shelter. The word still makes me tremble. I had lived with my family since I was a pup. I still remember my spot on their bed and playing ball with the kids. At the shelter, the other dogs barked and growled at me. The staff did not give me a nice bed to lie on. I was given a light blanket, some food, and a concrete floor. I waited for my family to come and take me back home. But my love and family never came back. You need room to run. The second reason I was returned to the shelter. I had just adjusted to my brand new life. Once again, a family turned its back on me. Separation anxiety. The third reason I was returned to the shelter. I became so afraid of being abandoned again that I destroyed things in the house, trying to find my family when they went out. I am only 4 years old and have had 3 different families. Biting is the reason I will die tomorrow. They say I am unadoptable. I only snapped because I was scared. I am a little afraid to die tomorrow, just in case tomorrow is the day my family will come back for me, though most likely they won't. I wonder if they ever think about me as they play with their new puppy and as I take my last breath. I adopted your dog today. I adopted your dog today. The one you left at the pound. The one you had for 10 years and no longer wanted around. I adopted your dog today. Did you know that he's lost weight? Did you know that he's scared and depressed and seems to have lost all faith? I adopted your dog today. He had fleas and a little cold. Guess you don't care what shape he's in. You abandon him, I'm told. I adopted your dog today. Were you having a baby or moving away? Did you suddenly develop allergies? Or was there no reason he couldn't stay? I adopted your dog today. He doesn't play or even eat much. I guess he's very sad inside. And it'll take time for him to trust. I adopted your dog today, and I should give him all he will need. Patience, love and security, so he can forget your selfish deed. Rescue me. Rescue me, not only with your hands, but with your heart as well. I will respond to you. Rescue me, not out of pity, but out of love. I will love you back. Rescue me, not with self-righteousness, but with compassion. I will learn what you teach. Rescue me, not because of my past, but because of my future. I will relax and enjoy. Rescue me, not simply to save, but to give me a new life. I will appreciate your gift. Rescue me, not only with a firm hand, but with tolerance and patience. I will please you. Rescue me, not only because of who I am, but who I'm to become. I will grow and mature. Rescue me, not to revere yourself to others, but because you want me. I will never let you down. Rescue me, not with a hidden agenda, but with a desire to teach me to trust. I will be loyal and true. Rescue me, not to be chained or to fight, but to be your companion. I will stand by your side. Rescue me, not to replace one you've lost, but to soothe your spirit. I will cherish you. Rescue me, not to be your pet, but to be your friend. I will give you unconditional love. Do I go home today? My family brought me home, cradled in their arms. They cuddled me and smiled at me and said I was full of charm. They played with me and laughed with me and showered me with toys. I sure do love my family, especially the little girls and boys. The children loved to feed me. They gave me special treats. They even let me sleep with them, all snuggled in their sheets. I used to go for walks, often several times a day. They even fought to hold the leash, I'm very proud to say. These are things I'll not forget, a cherished memory. I now live in the shelter without my family. They used to laugh and praise me when I played with that old shoe, but I didn't know the difference between the old one and the new. The kids and I would grab a rag, for hours we would tug, so I thought I did the right thing when I chewed the bedroom rug. They said that I was out of control and would have to live outside. This I didn't understand, although I tried and tried. The walks stopped, one by one. They said they hadn't time. I wish that I could change things. I wish I knew my crime. My life became so lonely in the backyard on a chain. I barked and barked all day long to keep from going insane. So they brought me to the shelter, but were embarrassed to say why. They said I caused an allergy, and then they each kissed me goodbye. If only I'd had training as a little pup, I wouldn't have been so hard to handle when I was all grown up. You only have one day left, I heard the workers say. Does that mean I have a second chance? Do I go home today? Room for one more dog. I see by his coat he must be a stray. The untidy look gives him away. He's lost his will and is so thin, hasn't eaten since God knows when. I know as I coaxed him through the door, there's always room for one more. The other night, in the freezing rain, that little female came again, matted and soaked, crying in need, lost and alone with babies to feed. Her pleading eyes I couldn't ignore. There's always room for one more. There's the poor dog standing in the rain. I've tried to entice him time and again. One ear's lopsided, the other's been torn. Blind in one eye, lost and forlorn. He's coming now, so I'll open the door. There's always room for one more. These stories are true, as I've said before. There's always room for one more. Ten Commandments from Dogs. My life is likely to last 10 to 15 years. Any separation from you will be very painful. Give me time to understand what you want of me. Place your trust in me. It is crucial for my well-being. Don't be angry with me for long, and don't lock me up as a punishment. You have your work, your friends, your entertainment. I have only you. Talk to me. Even if I don't understand your words, I understand your voice when it's speaking to me. Be aware that however you treat me, I'll never forget it. Before you hit me, remember that I have teeth that could easily crush the bones in your hand, but I choose not to bite you. Before you scold me for being lazy or uncooperative, ask yourself if something might be bothering me. Perhaps I'm not getting the right food. I've been out in the sun too long. Or my heart may be getting old and weak. Take care of me when I get old. You too will grow old. Go with me on difficult journeys. Never say, I can't bear to watch it, or let it happen in my absence. Everything is easier for me if you are there. I found your dog today. I found your dog today. No, he has not been adopted by anyone. Most of us who live out here own as many dogs as we want. Those who do not own dogs do so because they choose not to. I know you hoped he would find a good home when you left him out here, but he did not. When I first saw him, he was miles from the nearest house, and he was alone, thirsty, thin, and limping from a burr in his paw. How I wish I could have been you as I stood before him, to see his tail wag and his eyes brighten as he bounded into your arms, knowing you would find him, knowing you had not forgotten him. To see the forgiveness in his eyes for the suffering and pain he had known in his never-ending quest to find you. But I was not you. And despite all my persuasion, his eyes see a stranger. He did not trust. He would not come. He turned and continued his journey, one he was sure would bring him to you. He does not understand you are not looking for him. He only knows you are not there. He only knows he must find you. This is important than food or water or the stranger who can give him these things. Persuasion and pursuit seem futile. I did not even know his name. I drove home, filled a bucket with water and a bowl with food, and returned to where we had met. I could see no sign of him. But I left my offering under the tree where he had sought shelter from the sun and a chance to rest. You see, he is not of the desert. When you domesticated him, you took away any instinct of survival out here. His purpose demands that he travel during the day. He doesn't know that the sun and heat will claim his life. He only knows that he has to find you. I waited, hoping he would return to the tree, hoping my gift would build an element of trust, so I might bring him home, remove the burr from his paw, give him a cool place to lie, and help him understand that the part of his life with you is now over. He did not return that morning, and at dusk the water and food were still there, untouched, and I worried. You must understand that many people would not attempt to help your dog. Some would run him off. Others would call the county, and the fate you thought you saved him from would be preempted by his suffering for days without food or water. I returned again before dark. I did not see him. I went again early the next morning, only to find the food and water still untouched. If only you were here to call his name. Your voice is so familiar to him. I began pursuit in the direction he had taken yesterday, doubt overshadowing my hope of finding him. His search for you was desperate. It could take him many miles in 24 hours. It is hours later and a good distance from where we first met, but I have found your dog. His thirst has stopped. It is no longer a torment to him. His hunger has disappeared. He no longer aches. The burrs in his paws bother him no more. Your dog has been set free from his burdens. You see, your dog has died. I kneel next to him and I curse you for not being here yesterday, so I could see the glow, if just for a moment, in those now vacant eyes. I pray that his journey has taken him to that place I think you hoped he would find. If only you knew what he went through to reach it, and I agonize. For I know that were he to awaken at this moment, and if I were to be you, his eyes would sparkle with recognition, and his tail would wag with forgiveness. A dog sits waiting. A dog sits waiting in the cold autumn sun, too faithful to leave, too frightened to run. He's been here for days, with nothing else to do, but sit by the road, still waiting for you. He can't understand why. You left him alone that day. He thought you and he were stopping a while to play. He's sure you'll come back, and that's why he stays. How long will he suffer? How many more days? His legs have grown weak, his throat parched and dry. He's sick now from hunger, and falls with a sigh. He lays down his head and closes his weary eyes. I wish you could see now how a waiting dog dies. Dear Mum and Dad, I died today. You got tired of me and took me to the shelter. They were overcrowded and I drew an unlucky number. I am in a black plastic bag in a landfill now. Some other puppy will get the barely used leash you left. My collar was dirty and too small, but the lady took it off before she sent me to the Rainbow Bridge. Would I still be at home if I hadn't chewed your shoe? I didn't know what it was, but it was leather and it was on the floor. I was just playing. You forgot to get puppy toys. Would I still be at home if I had been housebroken? Rubbing my nose in what I did only made me ashamed that I had to go at all. Would I still be at home if I hadn't brought fleas into the house? Without anti-flea medicine, I couldn't get them off of me after you left me in the yard for days. Would I still be at home if I hadn't barked? I was only saying, I'm scared, I'm lonely, I'm here, I want to be your best friend. Would I still be at home if I had made you happy? Hitting me didn't make me learn how. Would I still be at home if you had taken the time to care for me and to teach manners to me? You didn't pay attention to me after the first week or so, but I spent all my time waiting for you to love me. I died today. Love, your puppy. You didn't even say goodbye. Woof, I said as you started the car. Hooray, I said, it's my first time at bar. The scents we were passing were all new to me, for it was my first introduction to this mystery. As we got out of the car, I embraced you with joy. After all, you remembered to bring my favourite toy. You threw it once or twice, of which I retrieved, but on the third it seemed you were ready to leave. You threw it long and hard, and I chased it like lightning, but when I turned to bring it back, I saw a sight quite frightening. I gripped my toy hard as I tried to comprehend what it was I did wrong to make our relationship end. You walked back to your car, as I sat there still loyal. Why am I subservient and you so royal? Your engine started and you peeled out into the night. You didn't even care about my overwhelming fright. As I sat in my pose, determined you would come back, the sun faded behind me while the surroundings turned black. Day after day, I stayed in that park, lying, waiting, too feeble to bark. As I lay there dying, thinking of you, Master, I asked myself how I got into this horrifying disaster. With my last breath of life, I whispered your name. Then I collapsed in a heap, overrun by pain. Why didn't you love me, Master? Why didn't you care? Had I no significance? Was I just a clump of hair? I stayed there, Master, and I waited for you. I guess taking care of me was just too much to do. I'm gone now, Master. No more you and I. But what I can't figure out is why you didn't even say goodbye. Will you help me unpack? Now that I'm home, bathed, settled and fed, all nicely tucked up in my warm new bed, I'd like to open my baggage, lest I forget. There's so much to carry, so much to regret. Yes, there it is, right on the top. Let's unpack loneliness, heartache and loss. And there by my leash hides fear and shame. As I look on these things, I tried so hard to leave. I still have to unpack. My baggage caused pain. I loved them, the others, the ones who left me. But I wasn't good enough, for they didn't want me. Will you add to my baggage? Will you help me unpack? Or will you just look at my things and take me right back? Do you have the time to help me unpack? To put away my baggage? To never repack? I pray that you do. I'm so tired, you see. But I do come with baggage. Will you still want me? Bye, baby. No more lonely, cold nights or hearing that I'm bad. No more growling belly from the meals I never had. No more scorching sunshine with a water bowl that's dry. No more complaining neighbours about the noise when I cry. No more hearing, shut up, get down, get out of here. No more feeling disliked, only pieces in the air. Euthanasia is a blessing, though some still can't see why I was ever born if I weren't meant to be. My last day of living was the best I ever had. Someone held me very close. I could see she was so sad. I kissed the lady's face, and she hugged me as she cried. I wagged my tail to thank her, then I closed my eyes and died. A Stray's Prayer. Dear God, please send me somebody who'll care. I'm tired of running, I'm sick with despair. My body is aching, it's so racked with pain. And dear God, I pray, as I run in the rain, that someone will love me and give me a home, a warm cozy bed and a big juicy bone. My last owner tied me all day in the yard, sometimes with no water and that was hard. So I chewed my lease and I ran away to rummage in garbage and live as a stray. But now, God, I'm tired and hungry and cold, and I'm so afraid that I'll never grow old. They've chased me with sticks and hit me with stones, while I run the streets just looking for bones. I'm not really bad. God, please help if you can. Or have I just become a victim of man? I'm weary, dear God, and I'm riddled with fleas, and all I want is an owner to please. If you find one for me, God, I'll try to be good, and I won't chew their shoes, and I'll do as I should. I'll love them, protect them, and try to obey. When they tell me to sit, to lie down, or to stay. I don't think I'll make it too long on my own, 'cause I'm getting so weak and I'm so all alone. Each night as I sleep, in the bushes I cry, 'cause I'm so afraid, God, that I'm gonna die. And I've got so much love and devotion to give, that I should be given a new chance to live. So dear God, please answer my prayer, and send me someone who will really care. That is, dear God, if you're really there. Alone again. I wish someone could tell me what it is that I've done wrong, why I have to stay chained up and left alone so long. They seemed so glad to have me when I came here as a pup. There were so many things we'd do while I was growing up. They couldn't wait to train me as companion and as friend. They told me I would never fear being left alone again. The children said they'd feed me, said they'd brush me every day. They'd play with me and walk me, if only I could stay. But now the family hasn't time. They often say I shed. They won't allow me in the house, not even to be fed. The children never walk me. They always say, not now. I wish that I could please them. Won't someone tell me how? All I have is love, you see. I wish they would explain why they said they wanted me, then left me on a chain. Yes, they have left him. No, there's naught to do, save let him out of life the gentle way, for wear of body tissues past repair is the hard price so many years must pay. Yes, I have known him since he was a pup. I vaccinated him long years ago, and treated him a score of times since then. It's fitting I should let him go. He trusts me and holds up a paw unasked. One needle more, old friend, the best and the last. Thus to put off the weariness of pain, slip soft from sleep to silent suffering past. Do animals have souls, you ask of me? No, not as humans do in their degree, but loved and loving beasts, the wise agree, by body's death could never cease to be. Pet store poppy. I'm a little poppy, so cuddly, sweet and small. I live inside a cage, you see, at pet store in the mall. I'm not an only poppy. My sisters are all here. My brothers too, except for Ralph, who died because he was scared. It's lonely here at night time when all the lights go dark. We tremble in our cages and we whimper and we bark. But no one comes to hold us or pet our fears away. We sit all night in terror till the stores open next day. We don't remember Mama, left so far behind. She did the best she could for us till man said, "It is time." He crammed us all in cages, too small for us, you see. We rode for hours. We could not help but lay in poop and pee. And now we sit in pet store, where kids come taunt and squeeze. They do not hear our whimpers or understand our pleas. We're miserable and it's scary here. We all would rather die. But since we don't, we do our best to run away and hide. I know you think my story too sad to leave me by. You want to take me home with you, a happy little poppy. But please, though it is fearful to live here against our will, if you take me, that leaves a spot another pop will fill. You can stop our suffering, but not by taking us home. You must be strong and leave us here, unsold and all alone. For if you do not take me, then another pop won't come, and maybe he will not be shipped so far away from home. Though some of us may not survive the cycle ere it falls, if we don't sell, they will not need more puppies in these halls. And if they need no puppies, then the man will not bring more. Eventually it can all stop. You can close the door. So when you see a puppy face so sad and sweet and small, in a cage, at pet store, at your neighborhood shopping mall, the best thing you can do for him is leave him sitting there. That is the best way you can tell all dogs just how much you care. For sale to a good home. I was born in the summer a few years ago. Quite why I was born, I'll never know. Some folk who owned my mother decided to breed. No reason I know of except for their greed. I know I was hungry. I know I was cold. They sold me quite early, at just 5 weeks old. My number one owners seemed friendly at first. My life was quite good, till my bubble burst. They started to argue. Their marriage split up. And in the ad, for sale, a 4-month-old pup. Some folk arrived, the next ones in line. They treated me kind, and life was just fine. My master dropped dead, and she couldn't cope. So she sold me again. I'll soon give up hope. I now had a new home, right up in the sky. We went up in the lift, 14 floors high. The new folk were kind, but they left me all day. I was bursting to wee and had nowhere to play. It was boredom, I think, when I chewed up the chair. They agreed I should go, as it just wasn't fair. The next home was good, and I thought, this is it. They started to show, and I won, well, a bit. Then somebody told them that I had no bone, and in went the ad, for sale to a good home. The next lot were dreadful. They wanted a guard, but I didn't know how, although I tried hard. One night they got burgled, and I didn't bark. Tied up in that shed and alone in the dark. For 4 months I lay in that cold and dark shed, with only an old paper sack for a bed. A small dish of water, all slimy and green. The state I was in, well, it had to be seen. I longed for destruction and an end to the pain. But some new people came and I went off again. Well, now I'm with rescue and this home is good. There's walk in the country and lots of good food. There's kisses and cuddles to greet me each day. But I dread the time they will send me away. But for now here I stand, skin and bone on all four. Please don't let me happen to any of yours. Behind this kennel door. As a pup, I dreamed and wondered what life would hold in store. For me, I thought, there's something great beyond that kennel door. Out there are needy people, and I have much to give. Love and wit and gentleness to help them learn to live. I'd be someone's protector, keep little ones from harm, or guide an old man's weary steps, or help to run a farm. I'd run and bark and jump and play with friends along the sandy shore. I'd roll in meadows thick and green that lie beyond that kennel door. I'd lay there waiting, longing, as the days and years went by. My owner kept me fed and brushed, but inside, he let me die. I do not think of greatness now. I'm old and filled with pain. My owner has some ribbons, but I have lived in vain. I cannot think what could have been. My dreams are filled with hope no more. Just floor and walls and broken heart behind this kennel door.